Hello everyone and welcome for another video of Love and War Games. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest two-player starter set for Dystopian Wars. And as you can see, this is a huge box. Before we have a look at the detail of what is inside, etc., let's just take a second to talk about the narrative. We had one starter set with only surface units between the Russians and the Covenant. Then there was the new starter set, which was Turginium Skies between the Crown and the Imperium. And now we have some Sultanate and some Union, as you can see, but those are mercenaries, which means that you can play them as mercenaries in other fleets, in any fleet. And even if you just buy this box, you can play those guys, for example, as the Union and those as mercenaries, to have one big fleet, or vice versa, those as Sultanate ships and those as the Honorable Eclipse Company mercenaries. So now that we've said this, and that it is probably the best starter set if you're not sure what to play, because you can really play this as one big fleet and play them as mercenaries, let's have a look at what you get inside. So it's a two-player starter set. So as you can see, it's absolutely filled with so many stuff. Let's divide. Here is the divide. Those guys are Union and those guys are Sultanate, except those which are actually civilians. Let's begin. You will get this little Mass 3 huge Zeppelin for the Union. There are a few variants. We will talk very quickly about how you can build them at the end of the video. You get 3 Mass 2 ships for the Union, also Zeppelins, quite armored. A lot of different variation. I will just tell you what they do, and I will not go too much in detail about how to play. We'll make a detailed what to play video to really give you tactic tips, but at least you will know what each name means. Like for example, the Ranger is the aircraft carrier, the Constellation is the shooty one. Okay, we'll just say this. And finally, you will have 5 Bogotas, which are basically the little Acron that you had before, but more heavily armored and with more options. I have some ships here to make some size comparison, of course. You get 1 ship made of resin, which is going to be the Lyceum, this guy, and you can have the name version the Badroulbadour, which is difficult to pronounce. It's a Mass 3 as well, and this is really tough ship, and I absolutely love it. Could be a Mass 4 actually, I'm not sure anymore, it doesn't matter. You will have 3 Mass 2 ships with a lot of different variations. I absolutely love those ships. They look so good. We'll have a look at the Sprues. And you have 6 Mass 1 ships. Those guys which are sky cutters, which are quite interesting, quite nice. And those which are even better, they can be used as escorts. They look very interesting with the asymmetrical design. We'll have a look. And I know some people absolutely love it. Some people absolutely hate it and say it's the worst ship ever. I'm probably in between. They are nice as little escorts. I'm not a huge fan of everything. What I really love is the Bogota. Like, I also like probably my favorite ship of the entire line. I already love Acron so much, and this is basically a bigger Acron, so of course I'm sold. We will have some dice and stuff, but this is what you get as ships. You should have more civilians that we will see inside. And of course you get those, we will talk about them in a minute, but there is not going to be many tactic tips because for now we have the ships, but there is no rules. You can only use them in scenarios that will be released in 2024. Without further ado, let's open the box. Okay, so let's open the box. It's quite heavy actually. Okay, what do we get? Oh, it's neatly packaged. Usually it gets like messy. This video might be a little bit later than we expect because the package got lost in the warp. Like literally the French delivery guy, like it got lost at some point. It reappeared somehow. And despite all these adventures, it's neatly packed. So we have 2 books. The very nicely, 3.05 book. So they updated from the 3.04. I'm just gonna skim over it very fast to see if there is new pictures or anything really new. No, still the same, old same, but there has been very little rules changes from the 3.04. If you want to learn the game, like you discover Dystopian Wars through this video, we have a how to play didactic battle report where we explain everything. We have the Fortune and Glory campaign, probably with the building explanation. Yeah, how to build the ships. Yeah, very good. We have also the explanations on how to build the civilians. Okay, very well, very well. And we have the scenarios. I am not a huge fan usually because it's good to learn the game, but it's usually like you see, you have one ship for the Union, one unit for the Sultanate. It's like small scale battles, and even the final map, which is Convoy of Chaos, which actually has, civilian ships. Okay, so there are scenarios here where you can play with the civilian ships. Okay. It's difficult to play for now. They have armor value of 4. Oh, they're very fragile. Titan have a 6 hull points. Okay, they're extremely fragile. Okay, so there is a little bit like explanation of how to play civilian ships. So they're here. I didn't see it yet on the internet, so do note, like for those that want, here it is. Here are the rules. And you see, even though this, it's very small scale battle. Like even this is like, not so huge. So I'm not a huge fan of these campaigns. I'm really hoping at some point there will either be a real framework on how to make narrative campaigns, or like some real like open-ended, okay, there is going to be a like island assault scenario. Here it is. The defender has 1,000 points, attacker has, I don't know, 1,500, something like this, and not something where they say, okay, take specifically this unit, which is good to recreate the campaign, but it's like something you will maybe play once, and then that's it. We have the usual map. Is it still the same? Yes, it is the same. Well, maybe some people don't know this map yet that has been there since the starter set. Oh, I'm sorry, you see my cloak being dried. Oh. Yeah, it's still the same map. Very nice. I can open it even a little bit more. Very nice to either show at your home or at your local friendly gaming store. You just improve Dystopian Wars knowledge, and there is a nice giant artwork on the back. And now we go into the heart of the pack. You have 2 sprues of tokens. Okay, very well. Also always very useful. You have tokens for when you get in disorder, which is panic level 1, then emergency, panic level 2, and the black is for chaos and disarray, panic level 3. Those little blue things allow you to say, to put them next to a unit that has already been activated. This, we've never used it ever. I guess it's supposed to put hull points, but it's much more convenient with dices. And this is to show, supposed to be when a ship is obscured, but we use it for everything. Like when a ship changes its state, for example, Alliance skimming 11 ship that becomes aerial, we put this. Which actually I realize works even better now because they do become obscured since the latest update. So yeah, lots of dices and tokens. You have 2 packs of emergency, like critical hit dices. Someone asked me, is it enough, those dices? I would say yes, absolutely. If you're one player, I think 6 dices for you is fine. Like I don't think I've ever had, except at like 4,000 points, massive games, I never have more than 6 ships that have critical damage at once. Of course, if you start to play really large-scale battles, you will need a little bit more, but for what you have in the box, 6 dices per player is already way enough. You have some dices, again. Someone asked how many per player, so we can see 5x4, you have 20 dices per player. It's enough, it's enough. It's quite rare that you have more than 20 dices per player, but since there can be some explosive dices, there are some times when you get more. So if you are a single player, if you really want to be chill and very fine, having 40 just for you is really like, you will never go beyond 40. Except like very specific situations, and then you can just re-roll the blank, etc. So 40 is enough for forever. 20 should be enough. 2 packs of cards. All right. Which versions are we? The 1.01. Okay, very well. I'm not going to explain again how it works with the cards, but basically you can get victory points, kind of like random objective every turn, and you can spend a card, so give up the objective, to trigger either the valor effect that is on the card, for example, a reroll or +1 speed, whatever, or you can make some unit-specific valor effect, which is written on the datasheet. Not every unit has it, but some have very powerful one-shot ability that require you, okay, burn a card, and then you can use this, or burn a card that has a value of 40 or plus, and then you can use this, etc., etc. So important to have cards. You have all the maneuvering tools that you need, which is good. You have only 1, okay, but since there is only ever be 1 player making maneuvers at the same time, 1 is enough. Of course, everything is aerial in this box, so you have a lot of aerial bases, like a lot. I'm just gonna take all of those out. Like for those that want to count, you have 1 big, 4 small, plus 2 middle, plus 1 big, plus 4 small, plus 6 middle. And now we go to the heart of the box, which are, okay, let's remove also the SRS tokens. The heart of the box, which is the sprues and the resin. We will keep this ship for a little bit later. It's so packed. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to reclose it after. We'll start with what I think is the civilian ship. The thing that is interesting there is that you have this, some resource token. I guess it's going to be on islands at some point. You have some ship SRS token, like civilian ships. Not sure. I'm going to start to zoom in a little bit back. I'm not sure what those are going to be. Are they going to be something to escort? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe to say that, I don't know what it's going to be, to be honest. We don't have any rules for this yet. Maybe it'll come in 2024. A Mass 1 probably civilian ship. And the interesting part is this. We start to have ground tokens. So we had some spoilers recently. Those look like troop transports. And they're apparently going to be played like SRS tokens. And you will have your landing vessels. You will be able to drop them on an island. And then they will start to conquer stuff left and right. Now we discover the Union aerial sprue, which will allow you to build some of the Zeppelin there. Of course, the new Bogota, which is basically an angry A-crown. Some SRS token because you can have some aircraft carriers. You will see, of course, all of those painted on the battle report soon. I like the heads of the different ships. So this is for the Ticonderoga. This is probably for the Constitution, maybe the Constellation. Yeah. This is for the Constitution, like the Constellation or the Republic, one or the other. And finally, this is for the Sentry. I really love this one. I really want to love the Ticonderoga. As always, very good plastic detail from our cradle. So you have 1 Union aerial sprue, and 2, and 3, and 4 and 5. Okay, so you have 5 aerial sprues, which means that on each of them you have 1 Bogota, 1 Mass 2 ships, and you should be able to make 5 Mass 2 ships, but since you will need to combine 2 of those to make the Mass 3 flagship, that is why you only have the number of units that you see. But it does mean that you're gonna have so many bits extra. You can use them as terrain, I guess. I mean, if you can turn this into some sort of power generator. You can turn this into a missile silo on an island. I mean, you can really use the extra bits that you get. Either you magnetize, of course, maybe the smartest thing to do, or you can just use those extra bits that you will get left and right, some like some cranes and some stuff to build your own terrain. Some more flight stands. Okay, you get 4 extra small flight stands for information. And now we go to the Sultanate air sprues. So you should get, I guess, I don't know, 3 of those, 5 of those. We'll have a look. So, okay, we can really see the difference in style. You got some SRS token for the Sultanate. It looks like this once painted. And we can see the very distinctive nacelle that the Sultanate loves so much. I'm going to show you, for example, the Rétage. Well, this is a larger ship, the Rétage. But if I take like a Mass 2 like this Konya, yeah, we can see that we can really see the inspiration. They do look a little bit smaller though. Okay, interesting to note. All the little turrets. Do note that for the Sultanate, there is a little platform to support the main weapon. I don't see it here, it's probably, yeah, it's this. This is the base of each heavy gun battery, and then you put the top that you want, for example this. This is a little SRS on its own. Okay, because from what I read from the rules, the aircraft that you will have here can have some SRS on their hull directly flying, and those are supposed to be able to detach. So it's probably why you have it here. But I think it's the first time ever in Dystopian War where we have a little SRS in plastic like this all alone. This is going to be very, very convenient, for example, to making some terrain. And if you want to make an aircraft field, etc. Oh, you have more there. Okay, okay. Very, very well. Okay, if you don't want to make your Mass 2 ships as aircraft carriers, you're gonna have 3 times how many sprues you have. You have 4 sprues from what I see. Yeah. Now you have 3 sprues. Sorry, my bad. 3 sprues because the last one is a second sprue of civilian. You have 3 sprues, so you're gonna have, from what I see, 9 little aircraft that you can just detach and put around. Okay, really impressive. And as always, I really like the detailing of the Sultanate. If you can see the details, it's really, really nice Byzantine style of architecture. Yeah, those are gonna go very nicely as a support fleet for my Egyptians. And as we said, we have 3 sprues of the Sultanate and a second sprues of civilians. And for those that might want to see some size comparison, the Bogota is exactly the same size as the Akron. I'm not sure we can see it in there, but it's exactly the same size, just a little bit more like troop transport variants, with this being opened in the center. And yeah, the ships are going to be quite, once built, quite thinner, like less long than the surface ships, but of course they're going to be more beautiful because you will see the bottom. This you only see ever the top. And yeah, if you compare the size of those Mass 2s with a Mass 3, I think double Mass 3, it is going to be longer than even a Constitution, but of course it's going to be less large than the largest Mass 3 ships of the Union. Last but not least, let's open the Lyceum, or the Badroulbadour. Alright, so what do we get? I'm gonna call it the Badroulbadour because that's a word in French and it's easier for me to say, Badroulbadour. So we have this very futuristic, oh my god, this looks like a spaceship. This looks more like a flying saucer than even the Thule of the Covenant. I don't know if you can see, but this looks like straight out of Star Trek or something. You have all these broadsides under. You can put these 2 main cannons under. You need to glue them well so they don't fall. Maybe you even put a magnet there or something. And then you have all the small weapons here. 3 here, 3 there. You have another little boost here. Okay, this I'm not sure where it goes. Maybe it's an extra broadside or shield generator. Oh no, it's the engine in the rear, probably. Yeah, it is the engine. The HQ on the top, the shield if you do build it as the Badroulbadour, and the little drop here, probably from the front. Hey, I don't know what you guys think, but this might be one of my favorite ships of the entire game. Like, I mean, design-wise. Oh la la. It's so elegant. Like, it's very thin. In the like, it looks like a plane almost. Looks futuristic. There is this huge generator in the center. And yeah, it looks out of Star Trek or even maybe Star Wars. And with all the gun batteries pointing to the ground, and with the 2 main cannons that you're gonna put here, damn, it's gonna look very, very good. Okay, it's gonna be more obscure reference, but for those of you that watched, was it Last Exile? The steampunk anime with the airships, it really reminds me of the Guild ships in this, where they fly over some cities and make sure that people make the good use of technology. Those guys were the Covenant before the Covenant, I just realized. Really highly impressed by the level of details of this Lyceum. Wow, that is going to be such a pleasure to paint. I like these little like details here. Looks a little bit like Art Deco. Is this a cooler flying ship than the Avalon? I don't know, but the fact that we're not sure says a lot about the quality of the design and the sculpt. Now I need to make a nice painting of this as well and to put it on a battle report. Okay, we saw everything that was inside. Now it's time to make sure that this holds, first of all. Now let's talk about what you can build and how you can play them. Okay, I'm just gonna go very fast. So in like a couple of minutes, you can understand how everything plays. Let's start, for example, with the civilians to say that we don't know yet. There is some rules to say they are armor 4, this many hull points, this shield, etc, etc. They do have a gun battery here, but they're very, very fragile indeed. You can build them as being a passenger ship like the Titanic, or carrying merchandise or oil, but it doesn't seem to have an impact for now. And all the ground tokens and the civilian SRS, and this we don't know what it does yet. So let's keep it for later. Hopefully by the time I make the what to build video, we will have the scenarios and I can explain a little bit more. About the Mass 3 ships for the Union, you have the Excelsior, the Venture, and the Custodian. The Excelsior and the Venture are, let's say, shooty ships. They have good weapons to the front that can make use of the give them hell rule of the Union. They have flag barrage, but they're all of them, all the Union ships, especially the Mass 3, have underwhelming firepower. They're good as support. They do interesting things, especially flag barrage, for example, and the Custodian we'll talk about later, but they are not your main damage dealer, for sure. For the point cost, they have very underwhelming firepower. So be careful with that and play them a little bit more as a support role than sending them after the enemy's biggest ship, because they will not kill your opponent's biggest ship. The Custodian is a little bit more interesting. The other two were Union ship that you can play as Honorable Eclipse Company, but the Custodian is specifically for the Honorable Eclipse Company. And what does it do? It has a sentry generator, which is this one that you see here, the one that looks a little bit like a solid generator from the Alliance. First of all, you have a valor effect to shoot it as a hit lance. Not sure it's the best use of the card, but especially it removes 2 dices from any action pool around. It basically gives a shield generator as a bubble. We know that this is good, and the thing that is very interesting about this is, from what I read, it does work on Mass 1 units. Usually, these generator ships don't work on Mass 1 ships. The sentry shields that you can have here or there do work on Mass 1s. So if you have, for example, I'm saying anything, you have this little Custodian in the middle of a pack of a lot of Farraguts or Valiant destroyers, this kind of thing, it's going to be hell for your opponent to deal with this, because it's gonna take a while. Like, the Farraguts are very offense oriented, but they're fragile. They have Citadel 11, if I'm not mistaken. If you start to say they're obscured against gunnery, Citadel 11, and they also have -2 to any dice pool you send against them, I mean, it means that even a normal cruiser linking its 2 main heavy gun batteries on a Farragut is absolutely not sure to sink them, even at the best range. That's insane. It's insane. So, now that we have said this, the Mass 3, you can play them if you would like, but I'm not sure they are so good. Do play them, but the thing that are much more interesting are you can play them as different Union ships. The Constellation and the Republic are those with the cannons. The Ticonderoga is going to be the one with all the rockets in the front and with a good Minutemen assault. I'm still militing to say like they should have tail and assault. Right now the Ticonderoga is not very offense oriented, but it's good at boarding and good at shooting with a rocket at long or extreme range. And the Ranger is the one I would recommend as well. It's a very cheap, fragile, but extremely cheap aircraft carrier. 100 points, it's very fragile, but 100 points for 4 SAS token is insane. And the Bogota is basically an Acron that doesn't have all the utility, but is more firepower oriented. As you've seen, we go quite fast on the details. The Lyceum is a flagship, a very good flying Dreadnought. The basic Sultanate version does a lot of things good. It can become an aircraft carrier, very cool, very cool. And it has a lot of firepower, but it is a more like cheap oriented. And the named version, the Badroulbadour, is the one that with a shield generator, some amazing boarding. It has this point defense rule from the Covenant, amazing. I would recommend the Badroulbadour every day of the week. The 3 Mass 2 ships that you have here are the Nasser, Aus, Biri, and the Muharib. Basically, one of them is with all the torpedoes, and it combos very well with the escorts to make very powerful long-range torpedo attacks. One of them, which is the one that you see here, the Nasser, is the one with the heavy gun batteries in the front. Very good firepower, but expensive for its defense, and so it's more of a glass cannon. And finally, the last one is the one with the boarding actions. It's the one that I would recommend if you play pure Sultanate, because it has good boarding from the default and doesn't gain much at being a mercenary, so I would recommend it. And this is the glassiest cannon of all the glass cannons in the world. If you play those, the Sultanate, they gain a lot from being mercenaries, while the Union from the Honorable Eclipse Company doesn't gain that much. So if you buy this box, I would recommend place those as Union and those as mercenaries. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for having stayed until the end. Hope you liked the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up, it really helps. Give us a comment, you gain a chance to win an Alliance or a Crown Battle Fleet. And finally, remember until the next video to keep spreading the love all around. Bye.